This is our 2004 plantation, so this really goes back to the very beginnings of the project. We had been supported by the National Land Care Program, and basically they gave us the resources to give this a go. So in 2004 we established this plantation. Again, if you go back to 2004, the science at the time suggested that this was a fairly risky thing to do in a dryland situation, to establish a plantation like this over an area that had a water table at the time that was only 1.5 metres deep, and again a groundwater that had a salinity of around 2/3 of that of seawater. It was quite an interesting project to get involved, but nonetheless one that the members of the Northern United Forestry Group were very keen to give a go to. As you can see, the plantation has worked, and it's worked exceptionally well. The trees now, 13 years later, are 12 metres high and growing with fantastic vigour. In about 2007, we started to notice something quite interesting. So we're in drought times. Water table was starting to recede, and there was no other reason at the time that we could imagine or would be making that happen, other than the trees were using the saline groundwater. So between 2007 and 2008, that decline in water table continued, to the point where we were convinced that the trees were actually transpiring some of the saline groundwater. They weren't using the saline groundwater, they were extracting the fresh water from that saline groundwater and using that. We basically reported our results to quite a number of people around the country that had worked on salinity and groundwater kind of issues, and quite a few of them came back to us saying, there must be something wrong here, there must be something else that's actually going on. It took us quite a long time basically to convince people that the trees were doing the job that we saw they were doing. And in the end we actually invested in a piece of science. We started measuring sap flow in the trees with some assistance from a company called ICT International in Australia. So we actually set up instrumentation that allowed us to see water flowing through as sap through the trees. So we could see them wake up in the morning, we could see them reach their maximum water use for the day mid-morning, and we could see them shut up shop at night. And basically that was something that told us an enormous amount about the trees. A cloud would come over and you could see the trees shut down because they didn't have enough photoactive radiation for them to photosynthesize. On Black Saturday, when the temperature went through the roof and the relative humidity went down, we saw those trees within 15 minutes around mid-morning shut up shop. Basically they shut their transpiration down by 50% and stayed there for the rest of the day to wait out the extreme conditions. So we found we have a newfound respect for the trees in terms of them being reactive to conditions in the moment, rather than something that might happen over weeks or months. So we did quite a lot of science. We measured water tables digitally using groundwater loggers, and we built up a really good understanding of what was going on. Again, these trees are largely acacias and flat-top yeat. There are some acacias planted in there as well, but they've been really knocked around in recent years by competition from the eucalypts. Yeah, so this continues to be an area that attracts attention, not just from a local perspective, but from people around the country, scientists around the country that continue to watch what we're doing.